Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show, not just to the listeners and viewers, but again to my good friend from the worldwide leader in sports, who is the host of College Game Day and the host of tonight's national championship coverage between Clemson and LSU on ESPN from the Superdome. What a huge game. Can't wait for it, and I can't wait to hear this man's hosting because he's great at it. Rece Davis back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hello, Rece.
Rich, how are you, my friend?
I cannot. First of all, you got to set the stage for me. What is it like strolling around that awesome town with LSU playing in a national championship game in the Superdome? What has it been like last 48 hours?
I think it's just been really intense. Everywhere you go, I mean, they're so hungry for this championship, and I think a lot of it has to do with the frustration that LSU has had since the last time they were in a championship game, also played here. And, you know, they got shut out, didn't cross the 50-yard line until the waning moments of the game. And it sort of cut the soul out of the program, I think. And so to have this resurgence and to have Joe Burrow have the year that he's had has really elevated the intensity. I sort of laughed because when the Clemson fans walk up, the LSU fans, you know, sort of eye them like they're coming to take something from them. But it's been friendly so far. We'll see how it is when we get closer to kickoff.
Well, and I guess that's Dabo's point all year long, talking about how they are the most overlooked, undefeated national champion defending its crown, maybe in the history of that ever happening, that LSU's coming to take something from Clemson, technically, tonight, right?
Yes. Absolutely. And, you know, I chuckle at that because, you know, I love Dabo, but, you know, anything to keep them as the underdog, it's been sort of silly. I think the reason that they've been overlooked is not their fault at all. I agree with that. ACC's down. There aren't many good teams in it, but Clemson is as good, if not better, than everyone. You know, that doesn't diminish them. It just means that, you know, you can't get too excited about them saving the North Carolina game when they're up 28-0 with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. You know,
right?
It's you know, they haven't had that type of stage until the Fiesta Bowl, and certainly showed their toughness there. And then they'll have it again tonight. You know, to Clemson's point, Rich, I mean, they would just be the fourth program in the history of the sport to win 3 championships in 4 years. And to do it in, you know, in this era would be a little bit different. I mean, Alabama's done it in this era. Nebraska's sort of on the cusp of it in the 90s, and the other one you have to go back to Notre Dame in the 40s. So, I mean, they're already a dynasty, but they're sort of going into that ultra-ethereal realm, if there's any such thing of dynasty.
Right, and obviously they would have done it with 2 different quarterbacks, one who we just saw have a 24-0 lead in a divisional NFL playoff game on Sunday in Deshaun Watson, and now here's Trevor Lawrence. And that's the thing that I'm particularly excited about tonight, Rece, is I think you could make the case easily and write it in Sharpie that the next 2 first overall picks of the NFL draft are playing against each other in the Superdome, the home of Drew Brees tonight, Rece. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And quarterbacks are such a valued commodity. I'm sure you could make the case this year that Chase Young, you know, hard to pass him up as the number 1 overall pick. But, I mean, Burrow has made such unbelievable improvements, and he's got that, you know, I hate to use it because it sounds like such a sportscaster thing to say, but there's that it factor to it. I mean, Rich, with the advanced metrics, this guy's been on target. Now, you know, his completion percentage is going to set a record, barring something catastrophic tonight. But his on-target percentage, he's like an 87, 88% on target from every throw this year. That's unheard of. And, you know, he's deserving of being the number 1 pick, and I think that he will be. And there's no question Trevor Lawrence would have been the number 1 pick last year, this year, and next year. So I can't fathom a situation in which he wouldn't go number 1 overall.
Yeah. I mean, we just showed some video of Trevor Lawrence running through and past Ohio State players in that comeback win in the Fiesta Bowl, and I tweeted out on the spot, I think half the NFL is tanking the 2020 season after seeing that one run. I mean, it really is amazing. That said, Burrow is the hot quarterback. He is obviously your Heisman Trophy winner, and that is the key tonight, Rece, is how Clemson handles Burrow, or do you got another one for me here?
No, I think that's it for sure. I mean, there are a couple of theories. I thought Kevin Steele, the Auburn defensive coordinator, and look, they gave up 500 yards, but they did a good job against him in the red zone. And their whole deal was you're not going to fool him. He knows where to go. The key is, can you make the window so tight or the coverage so tight that he squeezes the ball and can't go where he knows he should be able to and create that type of disruption. Auburn did a pretty good job with that. Actually, Mississippi State, of all teams, held them to fewer yards than anyone else. No one else has really done anything with them. Clemson needs to get a little bit better pass rush than they have. They're not going to get a bunch of sacks, but when they do get sack opportunities, they got to finish. Teams haven't done that against him. He's been hit 62 times in the pocket this year and only sacked, I believe, 16 times. That's a bunch of number. That's really good. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and they're not all clean shot hits, but just his ability to navigate the pocket, avoid a little contact, create a little more time, and make play, and then sometimes take off running and get 20 and, move the 6 because he's a good athlete too. Clemson has to limit that type of stuff, and I think Caleb Chason, who's also a good draft prospect, is a real key guy for LSU tonight on the other side of the ball in terms of trying to control the Trevor Lawrence run game you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the Joe Burrow NFL stuff that I see from him is that small little shoulder shake in the pocket to avoid the sack or to buy the time. And when he is running out of the pocket, Rece, he's always got his head up. He's not immediately thinking, I'm going to get the first down with my feet here because that's all I've got. He's always looking down the field. Play's never over because of that. It's unbelievable what he has turned into in just about a year. Unbelievable.
Rich, I was talking to a scout the other day, and I actually felt pretty good about it because I was thinking, boy, I really missed on this guy because last year and when I saw him at Ohio State, I thought he was a good, solid college quarterback, son of a coach, tough guy, good guy to have in the program, good guy to lead your team, all that stuff. But I didn't think, he completed 57% of his passes last year. He wasn't, he was just okay. And, and to see what he's turned into has been remarkable. And this scout says to me, he goes, I've never in my career, more than 20 years, given a guy a grade 1 year, given a guy a grade in August, and then had to come back and so completely elevate my very fair evaluation of him. He said, I haven't had it happen. So I think a lot of the credit certainly is due to the offensive scheme and Joe Brady, but most of it is due to Joe Burrow. I think he's made some improvements in his mechanics and throwing motion. I think he worked with Tom House, the noted, throwing mechanics guy, the former baseball pitcher. He's done all the things he's needed to do to enhance the other qualities he already had, and he's turned into just a sensational player that I think is going to be a great player in the pros.
A few more minutes left with Rece Davis prior to him hosting tonight's national championship game on ESPN. Normally, and we're going to be doing this at the Super Bowl in two weeks, is a legacy question. Who needs it more for their legacy, right? Who needs this championship more for their legacy? And in the terms of the coaches, obviously, Dabo, you pointed out, he's won 2 and 3 years. 3 and 4 years would obviously put him in a different plane or a different level. But Coach O, I think we don't. It's not even a question as to who would, if you will, need it more. Right tonight. Right.
I mean, nothing is going to change. Clemson's not going to be a lesser program. Well, neither is LSU, but LSU's had such a drought. There have been such questions about Ed that he's answered this year in emphatic style, but finishing it would elevate them in a different way. Clemson's already there, and Clemson's going to be back for the foreseeable future. I assume LSU will be too, but I think this would be a hurtful one to not be able to finish it, for LSU tonight. Look, there's a possibility of that for sure because, Clemson's excellent. But I would agree with you. I think in terms of the greater gain, LSU certainly has far more to gain in terms of that type of thing, regard for the program championship realm, all of that type of stuff that we like to talk about.
Right, and in terms of being rewarded for the decisions that he's made, Coach O, and bringing in Joe Brady, and then delegating the way that he has, and creating an environment in the program that he has with his own Go Tigers sort of stamp. It really would mean so very much for that W in front of the home folks, if you will, tonight.
They talk all the time about the great state of Louisiana at the Heisman dinner gala set by the governor of Louisiana, John Bel Edwards, who I asked him, I said, now, are you a politician type fan or are you a fan? And he said, I'll tell you 2 quick stories. He said, one, I was fighting for re-election. I wasn't going to go to the Texas game, he said, until I got challenged by the governor of Texas in a bet. And I was like, nope, well, sorry, just got to go to the game and support the Tigers. And the other one, he said at the SEC championship game, he was getting a little rowdy in his suite, and the Georgia fan next to him started kind of giving it back to him, stood his ground, and then realized it was former Georgia and Saints defensive lineman Charles Grant that he was going at it with. So, there's a lot all the way from the top elected official in the state all the way down to the good folks on the bayou who root for the Tigers heart and soul every day. There's a lot riding on it for the people in the great state of Louisiana.
Can't wait for it tonight. All right, so what time does it start? Who are you with? What do you got for me tonight?
Well, because of sponsor obligations, you understand all of that. College game day is actually in the afternoon. It's 3 to 5 Eastern time.
Okay.
Our pregame show is called Championship Drive. That'll be on 6 to 8, taking right up to kickoff.
Okay, and who's with you? The regular gang?
Normal cast of characters, and we also Nick Saban, Ryan Day, Jimbo Fisher will also join us in addition. Kirk, Des, Coach, David will be there. Maria, Jesse Palmer, and Pollock will join me for game day this afternoon. Desmond, so we've got a little bit of everybody running around too. Vilma's around, McElroy's here, so we got a lot of great guys.
And Corso and the Heads are there, right? We got it all set tonight.
Yeah,
of course we do.
LC will be on the Championship Drive show. Headgear coming at just before we go to kickoff.
Wow, that is a cast of thousands that you'll be right there as the ringmaster. Rece, you're great at it. Thanks for the call. We'll chat soon.
Okay, Rich. Take care, buddy.
Right back at you. That's Rece Davis at Rece Davis on Twitter and Instagram, at ESPN_Rece Davis on Twitter, right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.